this is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Queer faith reflections on the intersection of Christians, Muslims, and Jews for holy days. As holy days for Christians, Muslims, and Jews are about to intersect, the queer faith community embraces the diversity of spiritual traditions and celebrates the richness of religious expression. During Ramadan, observed from March 10th to April 9th this year, Muslims engage in fasting, prayer, and reflection, fostering spiritual growth and communal solidarity. Passover, from April 22nd to the 30th this year, commemorates the liberation of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, inviting Jews to gather for ritual meals and recount the story of deliverance. Meanwhile, Easter, on March 31st this year, marks the resurrection of Jesus Christ, symbolizing hope, renewal, and the triumph of life over death. In this convergence of sacred observances, queer faith emphasizes the common threads of compassion, justice, and love that unite believers across diverse faith traditions. This is a special time for mutual respect, understanding, and solidarity as LGBTQ+ individuals find affirmation and belonging within their religious communities. There are differences in these faith traditions. However, keeping every socio-political difference aside, the LGBTQ+ community across the world believes in coming together for different festivals for the faith they have in humanity and togetherness. The Queer God Squad honors the distinctiveness of each tradition. We also recognize the interconnectedness of our spiritual journeys, weaving a tapestry of faith that embraces the inherent dignity and worth of all individuals regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. The conflict in the world between the great religions can be an anecdote of how LGBTQ+ is treated by conservatives and evangelicals. Dialogue between these communities affirms diversity and deepens our commitment to building inclusive communities of faith. Well, just that.
Yeah.
just all of Islam and all of Judaism and all of Christianity and their various, and throw in some queer, and there we have it. It's easy, 2 minutes. Actually, the Ramadan commemorates Muhammad's first revelation. I think he had 5. And his first revelation was his encounter with the angel Gabriel. And from that encounter, evolves the Quran. So, and the Quran then is the book, the Bible, the text, the word that helps people live in a state of liberation, a state of freedom, free from fear, free from sin or whatever. So it's a spiritual liberation that you get by following the Quran. And it all began with this encounter, I think in the year 610, with Muhammad in a cave and the angel Gabriel. The Exodus, or the Passover, celebrates the Exodus. And that is a liberation from empire, where people who had emigrated to Egypt later became ostracized and then enslaved in Egypt. And then they find this way to escape. And so that exodus out of Egypt is celebrated with this Passover, and that's a Jewish story. So it's liberation from empire. And then the Easter, Jesus is executed by the empire, but it doesn't take. He's still around, and people saying, I saw him, I bumped into him, I talked to him. Death lost, the cross lost, Golgotha lost, the empire lost. So it's again, liberation from the empire, but also because it's saying that, the worst they can do is kill you, and that might not even take. That might not even be the end of your story. It's also liberation from the fear of death or annihilation, that there's more to us than our earthly years. So all 3 of these traditions are about liberation. And I think that's where they become very meaningful for queer people. These are traditions of liberation, about liberating from injustice, liberating from domination, liberating from fear, liberating from injustice. And so these are themes that appeal or should appeal to LGBTQ+ people. They're certainly relevant to LGBTQ+ people. So whereas people use religion a lot of times to oppress or marginalize LGBTQ+ people, these religious traditions are actually traditions of liberation and healing and justice and new beginnings. And I think that is very powerful for LGBTQ people of any faith or no faith. These stories are stories of how if you are feeling oppressed, that doesn't need to be the end of it. You don't have to take that. You
Right.
you can escape that. You can have an exodus from that. You can have a resurrection over that. You can have a revelation about how things could be better. And so these are actually beautiful stories for the LGBTQ plus community.
Right. And I so appreciate that here at Sunshine Cathedral. Yes, we are primarily a Christian church, but we have congregants, folks, people, friends who are part of the Muslim tradition, part of the Jewish tradition, and they come and they share their stories. And it really does become part of our community, our story together.
These are 3 high holy times of the year, if you will, and sometimes they overlap a lot closer to
Yes,
what they
yes.
do during this week, next month. But what I'm fascinated about is how we invite people to kind of reclaim themselves within those traditions.
Yes.
Also, we know that all of them have done a lot of harm across the spectrum, but this is an opportunity to say, hey, find the one that works for you. If you need to reclaim it, then do so. If not, that's okay, and there's other places for you to be. But in this time, of just look at how they line up. Like queer folks, this is our time to reclaim our place in these prominent celebrations, and not be denied an opportunity to celebrate, even if we have to celebrate with our family of choice
Yes.
within those celebrations.
Absolutely.
I think that's the whole story, that
Yeah.
people have an opportunity to relook at their faith walk and determine if that faith walk works for them. So what a great time of the year, and that there's an intersection. Yay!
Yay. Next up, we are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our global fellowship. This year, we'll be going to where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Space is extremely limited, so make sure to go to happeningout.travel/sunshine to reserve your space now.